TV. My name is Margaret. I'll be your broadcast engineer for today. I hope you're all having a lovely day. Hello, Nick. How are you?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Good. Glad to hear it. So today
Yes.
we are continuing our discussion on basically flexible containers, fast flexible file preview with MBS, which will be pretty awesome. We had a discussion yesterday. Nick did some little tweaking, and we'll have a really good summary about yesterday's conversation before you head into today's. It's like, man, I missed something. I promise you haven't. So, also, real quick, if you'd like to support the channel, look at all this. You're like, man, this stuff is cool, but I would just like to learn some FileMaker. I highly recommend that you pick up one of our training video series. We cover a lot on live stream. We talk about a lot on live stream. It is part of what we do to help educate the community at large. But our topics vary between beginner, intermediate, and advanced, depending on who is presenting. And we don't necessarily do it in any particular order, just to the nature of having who's available to talk about what. So, if you'd like a guided step-by-step, this is how you learn FileMaker and become an intermediate level developer, you will find our video courses helpful to you. And I promise the videos are not an hour long. They're like, and I think most of them average around the 10-minute marks. They're highly animated and they're very entertaining because it's Richard presenting most of the time. Nick is also a presenter in it, as well as Jacob Taylor and Calvin, a couple other people you've seen on the stream. It's good stuff. If you look at all this, you're like, man, learning FileMaker is great, but I just want to use FileMaker without having to develop it myself, or you need help with something in your development project, you don't want to deal with like an API, feel free to reach out to us at support@rcconsulting.com. We have a wide variety of senior engineers who are ready and happy to help you, including Nick himself. So, with all my intro shenanigans sorted out, hello everybody, good to see you all. Nick, do you want to share your screen and start us off?
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so today we continue the last day because we have only 2 days on this, right?
Correct, yes.
Okay, all right. Okay, so about how this works, the preview. So I figured out yesterday why it was working yesterday, but I was trying to load the wrong type of document with the wrong type of scripts, right? Because there's no one way to display all type of documents. So I did my homework, right? And here you have different ways to display, to use preview instead of the container, right? First, when it's a PDF, right? When it's a PDF like this one, you can use this load PDF preview. There's a way to load PDFs and to display a PDF like this, right? Instead of using the container, okay? Then when you have anything else than PDF, like Excel, okay? Or like Word, right? You use another type of preview, right? But these load other previews, right? Also work for PDFs. But you can see it's a little bit slower than this one. This is a little bit slower, right? And I'm going to explain why. Then we have to load the zip file, right? When you have a zip, you can see what's inside the zip. If you use this one for this, it won't work. Okay? It's not recognizing. It's not recognizing a zip file. So you can preview this. It's not a zip file. It needs to be a zip file in order to work. If you want to preview a zip file using other, you get an icon. And if you get the preview like this, you get the PDF icon because you try to load a PDF, which is not. You try to load another, but it's not a zip, so you need to do something special for the zip. Or you can use this, which is automatic. It loads whatever it is correctly Oh yeah, this one's big. I forgot. I need to remove it. So, and so you need to, yeah, I need to remove this one. Well, okay. Yeah, it's a giant file. I need to remove this one. And so you can load a PDF or this one too. So yeah, so it's when it's big, when the file is big, we need to be like conservative like this. Okay, so now how this works, because this is why we're here, right? So let it go. Let's finish this. So you need to be careful what you do, when you load a big file, right? But this is not that big though. I click on zip and try to. Definitely, I worked all day with this and it was working fine. And boom, I do the demo and uh, is it big? This document here. Yeah, it's a 10 megabyte file, and yeah, it's 10 megabytes. Okay, here we are. Okay, so here we have, and we can load also HTML file. Okay, you can load an HTML file and it renders the HTML file. Okay, so how it works. So let's work with a PDF. Okay, load PDF. Why so slow? Let me use another PDF than this one. This one is not a good example. Let's use another licensed PDF. Okay, boom. So let's go document here. Okay. So I want a new record, and I'm going to put a PDF that is okay. This one. Okay. So how this works? Here we have a script. So articulate the script here, load preview PDF. See, it's not that complicated. So, and I put some comments here that you can read, right? So first you need to make sure if there is something in this variable, right? Global variable. Well, you need to release it. You need to unload this. We're not saying killing the variable. We need to unload the variable, right? So you need to do this. Not delete the variable. You need to unload the variable. It's not the same thing. Don't say $preview ref1 blank. Don't do this. You need to unload because we need that variable to exist. And I'm going to explain what it is. So this global preview ref1, right? It's because this is where, let's say, the container, the virtual container in memory, right? And each time you're going to create a preview, right? Each time you're going to create a preview within that variable, it gives a number. Okay? For example, here I unload this. So that means this is blank. So let's see what happens. Here I have this. I have something here, right? Okay. So now I click again. So I have something in this variable. I unload it. right? So I set a variable result that says preview unload this one. You unload this container. It's pretty much blanking the container. Then you set a variable with the container, with what inside the container, okay? You set this with a container. Collect the source container and the target placeholder name, right? Then you set a variable with the name of the placeholder, the shape. Remember yesterday? Yesterday, we use a shape. This is a shape, a rectangle, right? And I'm going to use that rectangle and name it preview placeholder 1, because you could have, you guessed it, placeholder 2. So you can have two previews side by side on the same layouts, right? You understand? That's how you do. This is how you decide which control you want your preview, your container to be displayed, right? So if I have two preview, I have _1 goes to placeholder, the placeholder 1, okay? And preview ref 2 go to preview placeholder 2, etc. Right? So now let's do with 1 only, okay? We don't want to make that too complicated. So let's say I have something. I click the button and then I say, I unload. Boom, empty. See, it blanks it, but it didn't destroy the variable. The variable is still there. And you see what happened? Each time I create one, I click, it goes up, the number. It was 9202, now it's 9203. Then you load the container. What inside? Then you name your placeholder. Which placeholder I'm going to use? I'm using this one. Okay. Then you pause. Let FileMaker draw. So, that was the problem yesterday. It was showing nothing because I wasn't putting that. So you need to put like a small pause, break, right? To let FileMaker redraw the thing. Okay. Then you set the variable, the preview one. You set again, you reuse, you create or you reuse. If it's there, you're going to reuse the same name. If it's not there, I'm going to create it. Like if you first start FileMaker for the first time from the day, right? It won't be there. And then you say preview create with control, right? Index 0, that's very important. And which one you want to use to display, right? So pretty much with this, you say, okay, this virtual container of mine, okay, I want to connect it to a visual control, to let's say a placeholder name with the name I put here in this variable. Preview, right? Now that you did, you can load the container. You load what inside this container into this virtual container. So pretty much here what you do, you say, you set a variable, you use the MBS function that says load this container, right? The container that data that we collect here, use that inside this new create preview virtual placeholder control, right? And then when this happens, boom. So let's do it again. I click here and I say, okay, is there something like inside this? The answer is yes. There is something there. Okay, unload what inside. If I don't do this, it will work, but it piles it. And actually you can see what happened. Look, see, it piles it again and again and again and again. So if you do this, it will, at one point, and this is a small 6K PDF, right? But if you load 200 megabyte, 200 megabyte, 200 megabyte, 200 megabyte, at one point, right? So what you need to do is to why can I? Oh. What you need to do is to activate this and say, okay, unload, right? It's not there anymore. You unload. Actually, now that I did that, I need to release all. So here I need to release preview release, not unload, right? Because I loaded too much and the reference has changed. So I didn't see I am in 92 or 18, right? So when that happened, well, you need to go there, MBS preview dot release all. Boom, blank. Okay? So this preview release all pretty much clean everything, wipe everything. Delete it's like making like delete all, right? But for all the preview placeholder you loaded, right? This is good to know. So that's why and here I have explained that you need to, each time you load something, you need to unload this. You need to unload these virtual containers. This release all the containers. Okay? So here we continue. So we release this, we load the container, we define which placeholder we're going to use. We pause a little bit. We set this variable saying this variable, this virtual container, this virtual preview container is for this placeholder, right? So create a preview control, right? With this name, this reference for that space here. Then, okay, now load the container inside this preview virtual container using that container data, which is this. Boom. Do we have questions?
I don't have any at the moment, so I think you're good to
Okay.
keep going.
Okay.
People are
Now,
saying they're following, so.
okay. So far, you see, that's why I didn't want to drown you inside an insane, huge, script of mine. I want you to understand how it works. And then at the end, yeah, you get the big one, right? So now, what about, this is for PDF. What about others? Like, I don't know, an Excel file, right? An Excel file. Or maybe another one. Yeah, this one, right? An Excel file with different stuff, right? So what about this? Because if I use PDF, well, don't work. Why? Is because I can't use everything okay, everything the same, but I cannot preview a container directly. I cannot say take the reason why FileMaker didn't want to preview Excel, in a container. It's not a matter of like patents or what. No, it's not this. It's because you can't just take the PDF, the file from the container and load it in the preview. You need to do exactly the same. This is the same. You load the container, you name the placeholder, you wait, and then you need to extract the file extension, okay, of what inside the container. We need to know which extension is, okay? So this is a little calculation of mine, okay? So to get the latest dots in the file name, right? So this is to get the file extension, right? Actually, we can use MBS for that. Why is not saying file extension is not? Why? Oh, because yeah. This cannot be a proposal. But if I change this, so this here, if I change the container with the container itself, boom, right? I get the extension of the file. So I need the extension. I need the path where to save it. But MBS is not using the path, the FileMaker path, like FileMaker / it's not using this. is using this straight path, native path, right? Because you have the, you have the this is the you have the Mac path and you have the MBS path, which is different. Okay, so this is the equivalent of the get temporary path, right? This is the equivalent of the for everything you use to export, import, everything. Every time you use path with MBS, you need to use this, not this. See, it's different. See, it's different. It's not going to the same folder at all. Okay, this is better. So I need the file extension. I need the destination where I put where I want to send this, right? So I need to put a name. I need to create a name that is different all time. So I create my native path. Okay. So you create a path with the name, right? And then you do, okay, so I have the container, which placeholder I want to put that. I need to know which file extension is. I need to know where to go with the name. I need to know the path. Preview, an ID that changes all the time, and the file extension, right? That's the name of the file I'm going to send. This is, I'm creating the preview from whatever in the container inside this placeholder. And here the catch. I need to extract the file from the container. So I get a container out. So I export field content, which is the same, right? So I'm writing the file here, container write file, to my destination. And then I preview the file I just exported. So you have two preview. Preview load container, that for PDFs. And then you have preview load file, that for anything else. It's the same, just that here I need to get the file out of the container to load it and preview it, right? Very, very easy. Not complicated. It's the same, just we need to, build this extension, build the path, and this, right? So that's why for PDF, it's faster this, because I don't need to do this. I don't need to write the file out. It works for PDF and images, but it's faster, right? So that's why I say other, boom, right? I have it. Or for exotic like SVG files, right? Or HTML files, right? Now, What about zip files, right? So I used this as a demo to show you what you can do in order to display your own native exotic file. Let's say you have an exotic file, you don't know what to do to display, right? But you want to build your own way of displaying that file, like this. I built this. It's not an MBS feature. It's not part of MBS. This is something else. But MBS preview let me display whatever I want. And no, I don't need a heavy web viewer. I don't need that. Okay? Because yeah, it works. It's animated. Because this is an HTML page. Right? So this is a zip. We do the same thing, right? We unload, we load the container, placeholder. This is the same damn thing, okay? The same thing. Then what we do, okay? We set the zip FileMaker file. We export the zip file, okay? We export it inside this get temporary path, like we export this. Then I make that path a native path. Okay, normally I don't need to do that. I can just do that, what I done here, right? Here, right, to use this, but it's okay. You can do that too. You create a zip path with FileMaker and you make it native, okay? Then you export the zip file. So you export it. You get the zip file out of the container. 2, we get the list of the zip, because believe it or not, but MBS, if I export this, in my desktop, right? We have the possibility to yeah, I need to use this instead. Users. Okay, so MBS has an archive. Archive means zip feature. You can decompress. Okay, you can extract. You can list the content, compress container, right? So you can do a lot of things here with a zip. Okay, so that's many things we can do. You can add a file to an archive. You can remove a file from an archive also. I think so. Extract, create. You can do a lot of things here. We can stay just for this. But the one that's interesting is getting the lists, what inside. Okay. Since I can extract the lists, but you can do this only on exported file. You can't do that from the container, right? You need to export it. So you can't read that from the container. You need to be from somewhere, okay? So since I can get the lists of the items in my archives, right, which is here, right here, that's the list of the archive. I can now easily set a variable named HTML. Okay? So I can't just display the content of an archive here. I can get the list, but not display this inside. But I can display whatever I want there, right? So I build this HTML stuff, okay? To, build group HTML root file plus folder display only, right? So thanks to this, right? So I can use this HTML stuff and export this HTML page, create the HTML page, right? Do I have a temporary folder? Temporary item. Where is the... I don't know if I can show you. Should be there. Anyway. So thanks with that text, right? I'm exporting that as an HTML file, okay? And then I write text to file, okay? Inside this path. So I'm pretty much get a path where to save the HTML file. Save the file, and then guess what? Preview the HTML file. So let's recap. I load the container. I get the container out, the zip file outside of the container. I get the list. Thanks to be outside now, I can query the list of files. I create an HTML file on the disk with the content of this text, of this list. And then I'm previewing the list. Let's do it. So doing the same thing so far, okay? Then here, I create this. So here, I create the file in this folder. So let me go there. Okay. Here, right? So let me delete all of those. Oh, I wrote the file. Oh, I need to redo it. Okay, never mind. Click. Boom, 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 boom. So here, oops. See here, I've write the zip file. This is my zip file, .zip. Then I get the list of the zip file. The lists here. What inside the zip file. Then I create an HTML text, right? This is an HTML in memory, in a variable. Then I create a path where to save that file. I'm going to save that HTML file here. See? Text, write to file, boom. This is an HTML file, right? HTML. Then, what do? I preview this HTML file. Boom. And now I can see this. So if I did that for an archive, for a zip file, you can do for your own, right? You can do your own stuff. You can do your own little HTML mini page. So the HTML mini page will encapsulate and display your whatever you want to display, and then MBS will load that HTML page. So instead of using heavy web viewer, you can use preview to load any type of HTML page. Got it? So that's why it's powerful. All right. So now that we saw that, how to load a preview, a PDF, how to load anything else, how to load an exotic zip file, you can build your load auto that will load any kind, right? By detecting the extension. It's this one, run. You say if the extension is PDF, do this. If extension is zip, do this. If anything else, do this. That's it. Questions?
Why global variable preview and not local variable preview?
Oh, it's just for debugging. You mean the one I have here, right? The list.
Yes.
No, this need to be there all the time.
Why?
It need to be there because it needs to exist. It's like, oh, why you have the container all the time? That's why. it needs to be there because this is a support that you create once and you don't want to delete. You declare this, you say, okay, this is my preview, keep it here. Otherwise, well, this will be blank. It's not like you're not setting a field. You know what I mean? You have something living you have a living entity in memory. This, if you do this, well, this variable leaves the time being of the script. That means after the script is done, this gone, which means nothing to display. It's like, okay, script is done, remove the container. The same thing. As I said at the beginning, this is it's a virtual container, right? This placeholder will display whatever content this has. I understand? Look how it works. You suck in the content of the container. You define which placeholder you want to go. Okay? This name. Then you say, let's take this one. Then you say, so you suck in the container data in memory. You name the placeholder you want to go. And then you say, okay, create or reuse a virtual container, okay? So this is the command to create this virtual container referenced by this global, represented in the physical world by this global variable. And you say, okay, use that placeholder number, okay, this name, use this one to connect anything we are going to put inside this virtual container, display it here, okay? This is how you want to read. Whatever we're going to suck in this, preview it within this placeholder. And then at the end, when the placeholder is created, right? And the virtual container is ready to receive the data, you say, by the way, now load whatever in this container, whatever data that was here in this place here, which is connected to this placeholder. This is how it works. If this is a local blank, it won't work. Because when this gone, well, the support to contain the data inside you sucked from the container, real container data here, is not there anymore. So there's nothing to display. So this needs to be a global and need to be persistent. And has to have a number. It has an ID. It has an ID, always. And each time you're going to unload and reload, you get a new ID. New ID, a new ID. This 0 here, this is when you have multiple windows. Yeah. because I could load a preview here, right? And load something in here. But see what happened. He blanked this one. If I preview this, blank this one. Unfortunately, I don't have the time to extend the time to do that, and to explain the window. When you create here and into, you have the window ref. Okay, that's the window ref. So you need to read what happened here, or you need to you need to read. Means zero means the current, window reference is a unique your OS level window ID. You can obtain this, by window find by title or window find by index function. Pass 0 to access the foremost window. Okay, the frontmost. That's why we put 0. Otherwise, you need to put the index you get from this. It gets hairy here, so we need to maybe extend that when you have different the reference 1, 2, 3, the placeholder 1 with reference 1, placeholder 2 to reference 2. This is when if you have 2, 3, 4, 5 preview in the same layouts. Why? Is because you can't have two objects with the same name, right? So if you have two preview, you need to have two placeholder, and you need to have two different reference. Okay? So, yeah. Other question?
Nope, just a thank you. That now makes sense.
Yes. So it's not that complicated. It's just that, okay, it's not when to use this, because it's not practical if you want to do this, next, or list view. A list view is impossible. I mean, it's too much, or even if you have to do something like this, click, 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 on record load, you need to load, the preview. Each time you go, you need to load the preview, load the preview, right? Load the preview. It won't work well. So when to use this, right? Well, I have an example for you. Did I quit? Oh yeah, I need to load it. Let me load it. So I'm going to show you when to use this and how to use this. Okay? Because it's not for all the time. Okay? It's for something specific. Okay? But definitely, to me, it was a no-go if I couldn't do that, if I couldn't display files, right? So on PC, I don't know, but on Mac, pretty much everything that the quick look can read, right? Everything on Mac. On PC, I have no idea. But on Mac, if quick look can read it, can show it, right? MBS can see it, right? So quick look cannot see zip. That's why we need to do all the magic that I done. But quick look can see PNGs, right? Can see HTML with, and the link works. Can see text. Can see SVGs, right? JPEG, so you have CSVs, right? So we can see CSVs, for example, in the new other, boom, CSV. Imagine this, right? You can preview a CSV file before to import it, right? Knowing that MBS also can create, interact, modify Excel files, right? So you can do a lot of things with Excel files, right? In FileMaker, or CSVs or whatever, or even MBS. I just finished like something for another customer of mine. We do a merge files with MBS, merge PDF. Did we do something like this, Marge?
I don't remember off the top of my head.
That could be interesting, how to merge PDFs.
Yes.
We did?
Christian's talked about it before, but I don't think that we have discussed it. So,
Okay, so yeah, so let's put, because I have a extensive knowledge on how to. So, do you guys want that? I mean, we don't have a lot of audience, but the the merge PDF. So I think PDF
it's
manipulation.
always
I
a
think
good conversation to have. It always comes up whenever MBS
yes,
comes up, so I think we should.
yes. Okay, okay. Yeah, it's okay. It's interesting conversation anyway. Like this preview stuff, it's not for everybody. So for example, here I have an example. So this I have this system here. So and so when you here, you have documents, right? So I'm not directly accessing the documents like in the record, right? It's there. So what when I want to see this one, right? I click here and I sit, right? So before I was doing this with a container, right? So now, yeah, the server is far. So see, now I can see this, right? So I have, things like this, right? Archives. So when you have a UI like this, right? Well, it makes sense to have a preview with MBS because you want this, right? Right? But you see, each time I clicked, I create, each time I click on my archive, I click here, right? So, right? So you click here, right? So I do the export, I export, and I export the files to read them, right? But when you export the file, you don't load it, you preview it. So you have the time just to export the file outside the container, but you don't have to put it back, right? You just preview it, right? And of course, yesterday I saw you that you can prevent, for example, if the file is 200 megabytes, you can make a system like you click, it doesn't display. In the middle here, it said, this file is 200 megabytes or more. Do you want to display? And you click display and you force the display, right? Because you don't want to load big file like this, right? You want a warning before that. But since we can get the file size with MBS, right? Like for example, if I go there, see file size of the archive2, right? So, and you can get, with I have a function for that, custom function. Where's the custom function? Here. Byte size number, right? Why is it not working? Why is it is a text? Okay. Byte size number. Okay. See? So you can say if it's more than 200 megabytes, for example, right? You say no. Or 100 or 650, I don't know, you put your threshold, right? So you can do that. But the advantage of this is, you don't need to, you make sure that, you don't. Other question? No?
Not at the moment, so.
Okay, so we can wrap up.
Yes, I think it's a great demo. Thank you everyone for coming, and I will see all y'all tomorrow.
Thank you. See you next week.
Yes. Bye, everybody. Bye.